was driving, but due to his lightning reflexes, chaos was averted. The tyre screech was there for a dramatic opening effect. Anyway, welcome to R & Sons road trip from Brisbane to Dubbo. First stop was Glen Innes for 2 nights. Absolutely beautiful high altitude town, beautiful place, and a must see is the Standing Stones. There's a quaint little cafe right beside the Standing Stones, wonderful people, great place to kick back and relax, enjoying the panoramic views while sipping on a double strength Irish coffee. Dad took us for a drive to the Man River. He was trying to find a place where he had been years or decades before. With Mum, we couldn't find the exact place, but nonetheless I put the drone up and some beautiful, beautiful images through here. We went for a drive to a beautiful little town called Inverell. This has to be one of the most manicured townships I think I've ever seen. Stunningly beautiful. I tried being all cool and hip and tried flying through the shed just to the right here. Unbeknownst to me, somebody had erected some chicken wire and I flew straight into it. Lucky for me, I managed to crash land back on my feet and took off and came back out. Hence the dust all over the lens now. Within the Liverpool Plains area, there is a quaint little town called Quirindi. Some of the most astonishing mural artwork you'll see on the side of grain silos. Absolutely stunning. Rise and shine, we woke up early and we're heading to the grand destination of the Dubbo Great Plains Zoo.
See where Max's natural instincts to come from.
We departed Dubbo to return to Brisbane. On the way between Dubbo and Coonabarabran, we pulled over on the side of the road just to capture some of the true Australian countryside.
Outback stretching, red dirt canvas vast, dust kicking up, rear view holding the past. Dad riding shotgun, stories untamed, memories lit like campfire flames. Flat tire blues, but the laugh stayed true. Roadside harmonica, skies crystal blue.
Double bound, no map, no stress. Sun on our backs, the wild our address. The road ain't straight, but the bond don't waver. This journey's a flavor, can't nobody savor.
Gas station pit stop, meat pies and smiles. Radio scratching through static for miles. Slide guitar groans, harmonica wails. A symphony of freedom, the open road sails. Dad cracks a joke, a belly laugh quake. Moment so golden the earth couldn't shake. Windows down, wind sings its tune. Memories bloom neath the outback moon.
Double bound, no map, no stress. Sun on our backs, the wild our address. The road ain't straight, but the bond don't waver. This journey's a flavor, can't nobody savor.
Crooked signs point to where time don't run. Kangaroo shadows in the setting sun. Dad hums low, I join with a grin. Two voices blend where the silence has been. Right, this y'all. Steel strings crying, dirt road frying. Wheels hum sermons where the crows keep spying. Dusty boots tap, rhythm like a shotgun. Sun melts the asphalt, shadows on the run. Dad's hands gripping, steering through the silence. Outlaws of the highway, no room for compliance. Roll the Dubbo in the skies that glow. Heartbeats pounding where the gum trees grow. Roll the Dubbo, stories only we know. Gas tank empty, but the love won't slow. I knock the whales like a convict's confession. Slide guitar snarls, rebellion's expression. We passed old signs, kangaroos in the frame. Each mile a memory, each stop a new name. Dad's laugh, heavy voice carved from gravel, teaching me the wisdom of the roads we travel. Roll the Dubbo under skies that glow. Heartbeats pounding where the gum trees grow. leather seats, echoes of a radio tune. Orange sun sinking, chasing down the moon. Dad said life's a highway, wild and untamed. I smiled at the horizon, every turn reclaimed. Road to Dubbo under skies that glow, heartbeats pounding where the gum trees grow. Road to Dubbo, stories only we know. Gas tank empty but the love won't slow.
We stayed in Brisbane for 2 nights, a very well kept little town. The parks around here were beautiful. We stopped in at the Crystal Kingdom and you can spend hours here. The place is fascinating. I forgot to mention earlier, on the way to Brisbane, on the side of the road from time to time, you'll see these signs on planets. Fascinating to stop and read. Dad had booked us in for a tour at the observatory, Siding Springs. This sign didn't exactly belie the truth. Turned out the observatory was closed on this day for fears of bushfires with very, very strong winds. So Dad came up with a great suggestion to spend the day doing a local road trip. So we stopped at the Warrumbungle National Park lookout, took in the sights there, then we continued on through Turawina. Warrumbungle National Park. Absolutely beautiful. Those rock spires in the distance there, spectacular.
I'm doing this assessment.
After driving quite some miles today, it was a wonderful day. We saw everything from cattle wandering across the road to what appeared to be mountain goats at a small riverbed. Anyway, arrived back to where we were staying at the Matthew Flinders Motor Inn. A little bit too chilly to go for a swim, The following morning I thought I'd put the drone up just to capture a little bit of Coonabarabran before we headed to the observatory.
She stopped quick.
Yes, she does.
Yeah.
I'm glad I put your camera down there.
Yeah, I saw it at the same time as you. Just made a foot on crow.
Well, that's going to be interesting because I'm recording at the moment. Wouldn't have seen anything, but we certainly heard something.
Roo jumped out, Dad hit the pigs, and we all survived, including the camera. Yeah, that was a bit of a wake-up call. That got the adrenaline pumping. But so this was on the way home from Coonabarabran. We'd stopped into Shawns Creek to have a look at the big rock, which was actually quite interesting. And I almost lost the drone on the back side of the rock. Dropped down a little bit too far and lost signal. So we headed home. We were getting ready to go to dinner. There's a quaint little restaurant around the corner. The forecast was an approaching thunderstorm right on sunset, so I thought I'd quickly put the drone up and take in the sights from above.
'cause Mitzi growled on the highway. Dust in the mirror, the sun hanging low. From Brisbane down south to Dubbo's dry grin, the wheels hummed a song only wonders know. Glenann's rose with its stones carved by time, granite whispers and secrets that rhyme. Oh, Pa's Mitzi carried us far through the dust under the stars. Kangaroos danced in the rear view's glow, where the dirt road stretched and the wind still blows. A tiny cafe, walls stained with grease, noodles and tea, a slice of old peace. Dubbos who roared with wild-hearted cries, oh, just laugh, they're freer than I. Coonabarabran stars painted the dome, telescopes pointed to where dreams roam. Oh, Pa's Mitzi carried us far through the dust under the stars. Kangaroos danced in the rear view's glow, where the dirt road stretch and the wind still blows. Stanthorpe's pub, craft beer in hand, old rife tales of a faraway land. The Mitzi parked, its engine still warm, a witness to stories through dust and storm. Whoa, Pa's Mitzi carried us far through the dust under the stars. Kangaroos danced in the rear view's glow, where the dirt road stretch and the wind still blows.
next stop was Stanthorpe, and it's actually our last overnight stay, the final leg of our journey to return to Brisbane. Together, Dad and I experienced the standing stones all the way down to the wonderful experience of the Dubbo Zoo. On the way back, we stopped in Coonabarabran, investigating the observatory. Day before, because it was closed, we had a lot of fun just doing a country road trip. Witnessing the Copperton Dam was an amazing experience, a huge expanse. So Stanthorpe being our last night, we crammed in a lot of hours on the road. We churned over a lot of kilometres. Yeah, we were starting to get tired, but it was a wonderful place to be the final night of our road trip. So once we settled into the room, we went to the Chinese restaurant and ordered some takeaway. It was going to take about an hour. So I said, hey Dad, let's go for a wander over to the craft brewery. Dad hesitated and he said, yeah, let's do it. So we went to the craft brewery and there were a lot of beers I've never seen before. And surprisingly, Dad chose one that was full of caffeine. After we finished a rather large beer, we picked up our Chinese, went back to the room, chilled out, had a couple more beers, which was probably a couple more on tired minds. And well, as the evening went on, Dad talked more and more, ended up talking himself to sleep. Fell asleep on my bed, snoring his head off, while he was sharing a whole bunch of stories about his early days in the RAF, way before I was born, which was really precious for me. That's a moment I've never had with Dad. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this trip from start to finish. No problems, no issues. Dad's mighty Mitzi just purred along, never missed a beat. Didn't even have so much as a flat tyre. Mind you, we did have road blockages of cattle, a couple of suicidal skippies, yet the entire trip was incident free. Had a blast. So in regards to this movie edit, it started off as what was going to be a brief collation of the trip, which has then started evolving into a documentary, and now it's turned into a bloody movie. This has been a challenge in itself. I've never edited more than about 5 or 10 minutes just for my radio control planes, so this has now turned into a 1-hour movie. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a huge amount of work, not without its challenges. My first attempt, which was late 2023, early 2024, the video editing program that I was learning to use crashed on me and lost all the video files. And I'd actually gotten as far as the Copperton Dam, so a little more than 3/4 of the way through, and I lost everything. So I have the time now to try and do a decent edit. I'm using CapCut, the professional version, and I'm very happy with it so far. It's got me this far, which is further than the last program. One last note, shout out to my good mate Max. I gave him some keywords and he put together all the country and western style music that's in this video. And this last song that's about to play, that's specifically in relation to Dad and I on this trip. So I hope you all enjoy this. I've enjoyed putting it together, enjoyed reminiscing the wonderful times we had on the road trip, one of the nicest experiences in my life. Take care folks, blue skies, keep smiling.
As Mitzi rolled out from Brisbane town, a rattling box with a faded crown, dust on the dash, maps folded and worn, the road stretched wide, the tires forlorn. Through the heat, through the haze, under the sun's relentless blaze, from Glennon stones to Dubbo Zoo, the world felt big, the sky so blue. Kangaroos bound where dirt a cafe, Chinese and small. The noodles thin, the tea burned and all. Dubbo's lions roared behind their gates, while time ticked on at its patient pace. We drove past fields, burnt ochre and red, stories spilled of the things he'd said. Coonabarabran stars, they lit the night, telescopes aimed at the endless light. From Glennon and Stones to Dubbo Zoo, the world felt big, sky so blue. Kangaroos bound where dirt roads meet, and the past rides shotgun in the passenger seat. Stanthorpe brewed its bitters and ales, drunken whispers of old raft tales. Pa's voice cracked, the years showed through, memories blurred, but the love stayed true. From Glennon and Stones to Dubbo Zoo, the world felt big, the sky so blue. Kangaroos bound where dirt roads meet, and the past rides shotgun in the passenger seat. As Mitzi rolled out from Brisbane town, a rattling box with a faded crown, dust on the dash, maps folded and worn, the road stretched wide, the tires forlorn. Through the heat, through the haze, under the sun's relentless blaze, from Glennon and Stones Dubbo Zoo. The world felt big, the sky so blue. Kangaroos bound where dirt roads meet, and the past rides shotgun in the passenger seat. Stopped at a cafe, Chinese and small. The noodles thin, the tea burned and all. Dubbo's lions roared behind their gates, while time ticked on at its patient pace. We drove past fields, burnt ochre and red, stories spilled of the things he'd said. Coonabarabran stars, they lit the night, telescopes aimed at the endless light. From Glennon and Stones to Dubbo Zoo, the world felt big, sky so blue. Kangaroos bound where dirt roads meet, and the past rides shotgun in the passenger seat. Stanthorpe brewed its bitters and ales, drunken whispers of old raft tales. Pa's voice cracked, the years showed through, memories blurred, but the love stayed true. From Glennon and Stones to Dubbo Zoo, the world felt big, the sky so blue. Kangaroos bound where dirt roads meet, and the past rides shotgun in the passenger seat.
That's all, folks.